The things that we think will make us happy actually don't. And this has been sagely advice for millennia, and more recently confirmed by modern scientific studies. Professor of psychology at Harvard University, Daniel Gilbert, coined the phrase miswanting, which is a great term because it accurately describes how we tell ourselves, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I get the new job or the new car, or when I move to the country, or when I win the lottery. But this is not true. Professor Gilbert scientifically shows that only a year later, winners of the lottery are no happier. And we say, yes, well, that's them, but however I know I'll be happy with 150 million. But who says this to us? Who repeats again and again that I will be happy when my lucky numbers come up? Who talks to us all day long? Well, it's the little voice of me. And of course, we believe everything that me says. But imagine if you had a friend who followed you around all day long, just by your shoulder, and they spoke aloud into your ear every thought, idea, feeling that the little voice says. Well, if you don't shoot them, you definitely would not believe a word they said. Yet we believe everything the little me voice tells us. It says, I'm unfit. I need to go on a diet. And then someone offers you a piece of Victoria cream sponge cake. And the same little voice says, well, you know, Grandma used to make Victoria sponge cake. I could start the diet tomorrow. And they did make it especially. So you eat half the cake, and then you say, oh, you duffer, why did you do that? And so it goes on. We give this little voice authority, and we believe everything that it tells us all day long. I want this, I want that, I will be happy when. And how is this going for us? Sri Shantananda Saraswati was a loving and wise proponent of Advaita philosophy. He often had stories to accompany his teaching. And the following story comes from the book The Man Who Wanted to Meet God. And it's absolutely right on the money with miswanting. Once, 4 businessmen set out on a trip, carrying firearms for protection. They met a wise man on the way who warned them not to go that way as it was dangerous. They did not listen to him and said that they were well equipped to face any danger. As they went further, they found a bar of gold lying on the ground. Rejoicing at their find, they wrapped it up in a piece of cloth with the idea of dividing it amongst themselves. As night fell, 2 of them went to a neighbouring village to buy some food, while the other 2 stayed behind. When they had gone, those who stayed behind felt tempted to keep the bar for themselves and conspired to shoot the other 2 men when they returned with the food. The 2 who had gone to the village, they had a hearty meal in a cafe, and while returning with the food for the other 2, they also succumbed to the temptation of keeping the bar for themselves, and they plotted to do away with their friends. Therefore, they mixed poison with the food they were taking back to them. When they returned with the food, the other 2 shot them dead. They were hungry, so they at once devoured the food brought for them. They fell asleep, never to wake again. The next morning, the same wise man passed by on his way to the river. He found the 4 lying dead, and the bar of gold wrapped in a cloth. He threw the gold into the river so that it might do no further mischief. There's a lot in the story, It shows that even when we are given guidance to follow the right path, we ignore what the universe is telling us. We believe the stale little me voice, which says, I know better. I know what I want. I am prepared for any danger. But a firearm won't protect against insatiable greed or desire. And the travellers don't listen. Finding the gold bar is thought to be a cause for celebration. But very soon, a quarter split is not enough, and presumably a half split would also not have satisfied. So often in stories, not listening to the wise counsel ends in calamity. And the stories may resonate in us because the wise person might represent another voice, a quiet, still voice of innate wisdom that speaks to us truly, tells us what we really want if we are still and if we listen. So we have modern psychology sharing common ground with ancient sagely advice. And a key difference between Advaita philosophy and modern psychology is that though many psychologists will tell you that you have suffered damage, that you're flawed, that you need to be repaired, Advaita philosophy says that your true nature, the essence of your being, is pure love, freedom, wisdom, and bliss. The proof of this is that you can avail yourself of these qualities in any situation and at any time. They are always with you. However, the new job becomes old, as does the new house and the new shoes. The present moment, however, when awakened to, makes everything fresh, revitalizing, full of beauty, wisdom, and splendor. If we let go of the stale little voice and believing it when it says, "What miserable weather," we find our true inner nature is singing and dancing in the rain. And there's a beautiful and very elegant proof of our true inner nature from Advaita philosophy, from a statement from Shantananda Saraswati. And he said this: if there were no love within, then it would not be possible to recognize love outside. So if the little voice is regurgitating, "I'll be happy when I find the gold," pause and listen for that other voice, the quiet, still voice of wisdom. It might be saying, recognize the love, the joy, the happiness that is available now. Recognize it outside and experience it within. You may even find that this is what you really want.